All right, so in this video, I will be showing you guys how to install MongoDB locally on your own computer, as well as setting up through MongoDB Atlas in the cloud. There are pros and cons to both. For a local installation, you'll have complete control over your database. There will not be, storage limits or bandwidth limits, although the cons being that it is local to your machine, right? If I have files on my database, on my laptop, my teammate is not necessarily going to have the same files on their laptop. For the cloud version, right, pros and cons are sort of inverse. It is a lot easier to set up, but you need an account. There's limits on the free version and stuff like that. So without further ado, we can get into the video. I will put links to the start of both sections in the description. Thank you guys. Alrighty, so in this portion of the video, I'll be showing you guys how to download and then install a local MongoDB database instance. So this will be running on your machine, accessed, as I said, locally. So I have a Mac computer, so I will be following the Mac, download and setup instructions. If you have a Windows computer or, a Linux computer, similar set of instructions, although, will be slightly different. So this video will not apply directly. And you can, I'll provide this link for the setup and you can just, go ahead and follow the instructions yourself. So, yep, I said I'll do Mac. First, you need to go ahead and download from the MongoDB page the application itself. As I'm actually on an M1 Mac, I have to download the ARM version. If you have an older Intel-based Mac, you'll need to install, I believe, the x86 version. Regardless, it should auto-populate here what version is correct for your computer, but just want to make sure you're downloading the right version. Okay, so after extracting it, I will have this folder, which I will access with terminal. So I will navigate to my downloads. So download, okay. And then cd into the folder itself, now into the bin folder. And what I want to do here is copy it to my, actual root bin user file. So you can see user local here bin, just so, I can have, I'm going to be using Mongo for a long time. It won't just be sitting on, in my downloads folder. Oh, my bad. Could be outside the bin folder. Type in my password. I could enter that correctly. There we go. So I've copied it to my bin, and I will also make a directory for, whatever the data I'm going to be creating for my database. So just think of record entries. Logging database. So you can see I'm now at local logs. So MongoDB will automatically create logs based on, various accesses, writes, reads, stuff like that. And then I'm also going to want to give myself ownership of these directories I created because I did create them, in the user directory. And if you're not familiar with this $user, that's just so you can copy paste. It's a kind of expands to whatever your actual user is. So you can see if I echo user, that's just me there, Oppenheimer J. From here, we're going to start the server with this command. You can see we are linking the Mongo installation that I copied to my local directory and the path for the logs. So you may have noted that I was not able to start the database instance. That happened because, right, I have my Mac, they're really secure, no bugs allowed, right, no viruses. So for whatever reason, you're using a Mac computer and your application was blocked, you're gonna have to go into security settings and just, allow the application to be opened. So I can go back now. I don't actually want this one opened, as I already quit it, so I can open it up and then just go back to my terminal. All right, so now go ahead and start our local database with the directories we created. You'll see it'll start successfully, and then to take a look at it, we're gonna do Mongo sh or Mongo shell. This may be named Mongo, Mongo s, something else on your system. If you want a certain name, you can alias it in your bash, but that's not terribly important. So you'll see I'm connected to this wonderful database at a local host, and then this port. there's some warnings, we don't need to really worry about it. And then if we'd like to, we can see the databases that are on mine. So I've used MongoDB before, so you'll see that, I have some very, very light files in admin config and local. These should be 0 for you guys, but if they're not, don't be terribly concerned. So now after getting that installed, we can go ahead and install MongoDB Compass, which we can download for, as I said, I'm on macOS ARM. We'll download a DMG. Let that download. Move Compass to our applications. And then we can go ahead and just open Compass, if I can find it. Here we go. So this should open right up. Application from the internet, go ahead and open it up. We can do a tour, but as you can see, so as I showed you guys earlier, I'm on localhost in this port. I can connect right to my database. I can see the admin, config, and local databases that I have. So looks like all that's in here are some startup logs, but if I wanted to add data, I could just insert a document, I could import JSON or CSV, and I could get my data right in there. So that is how you just set up a MongoDBS locally on your computer. Go through some setup instructions. They'll vary based on your system. And then I highly recommend you install Compass to get, I think, a fairly nice viewer editor for those databases. All right, for the cloud setup, all you go to is mongodb.com/cloud/atlas and sign up. I'll just be using my personal Google account for this. Except, surely, you can read the privacy policy in terms of service yourself. So, I'm still loading. Okay, we can skip all of this. Like I said, mildew me. I don't know if this part is skippable. Oh, God. Alrighty, with that aside, we will just be, as I said in the very intro of the video, be using the free version of the database. You'll note there are limited storage. You only have 512 megabytes, which is fairly small, as well as, shared RAM and CPU. We'll just create the cluster. We'll say default cluster. Really don't need to mess with any of this. And then tags again. Don't need to worry about that. I will create a deployment. If I can choose what a motorcycle is. We'll have a username and password to access this database, so it will be authenticated. You can change the username and password if you would like to. So I will create the database user. All right, so we can go ahead and choose a connection method. We will choose Compass, as we've already installed that on our, in the previous local version, so you might as well just be familiar with it. I have MongoDB Compass installed. I think I have the latest version because I just downloaded it. And then here is my URI. That is all. You'll see in here that I have, don't need any of this. Have my database here. All right, so now I'll show you guys actually how to connect to the database in Compass, the application previously downloaded during the local setup. So all you're gonna do is go to your cluster, hit connect, click on Compass, and copy this URI that is provided and that we can just plug right into Compass. So I already have plugged in here. Oh no, there's my password. So I'm gonna go ahead, type that stuff in. You can just paste here. If you don't already have it, and then, or just type it in that way. Hit connect. Well, same views before, right? We'll just connect right to the database, and you'll see that there are already some databases set up. It does give you a sample database of stuff, so like there are, I don't know, what are these, comments, some movie data, theaters. You can delete all this, but it's just, I guess, sample data to play around with. So yeah, so that'll kind of be all of it for this part of the video. The main takeaway of getting these URIs is, you can now use URIs just like this one here to, provide to your React app and, connect to a database, whether that's local database or the cloud database. Yeah. To close this video, I thought I'd talk a little bit briefly about how you'll actually use the Mongo database, with the cloud database or a local database with your React code. So as I said, the critical thing that you're getting out of that setup is the MongoDB URI, as I showed both for the local database and the online, cloud database. That's really the critical thing that you're going to need to plug into your project. But obviously, you're going to be doing, hopefully, if your project requires it, you're going to be wanting to query your database, add data to your database, edit that data, and so on. So the way you're going to be doing this is with a library called Mongoose, which is the sort of Node.js version of, or way to, talk to and connect to your Mongo database. So I will include links to sort of this startup guide, as well as point you guys towards past projects that, may be a, sort of better example to even, use for inspiration if you're having trouble sort of setting up and coding a connection to the database yourself. Yeah, so there's a ton in here, and I will be, perfectly honest, I don't, understand this all that well. I haven't, worked as in depth with Mongoose as some of the past members of Hack the Future has, but there are a ton of resources out there on the internet, as well as I was saying, there's past projects. So last semester, or last year I should say, Food Finders did an excellent job with their project and their connection to Mongo. So we can see that they have models for things like an address, an order, so it looks like it has a recipient ID and whether the order was completed or not, an address, so it'll have a street name, apartment number, city, zip code, stuff like that, as well as, they created types for their models and so on, as well as there should be, the way they connected to these. So, so I don't like to conclude the video. If you guys have, any further questions for me, please let me know on Slack. Just Slack me on our Slack. And hopefully this video has given you some, more guidance towards setting up and installing your Mongo database for your project.